I tapped my white Nike sneakers on the front porch as I waited for my husband to pull up. After what seemed like a century, I finally saw his golden Honda pull around the corner. He came to a screeching stop in front of our house. I gave him an annoyed look and an eye roll as I strolled towards his car. As I got in, I looked over at John. Sam Smith was blasting through the car. His eyes had bags, his hair was a mess, he had a fresh pair of jeans and a green shirt on. I turned down the radio. "Where did you go last night?" I asked. "You know how crazy work gets. Julia assigned me and Nick a new account last night and expects it done before Monday." "You couldn't at least call me to tell me you weren't coming home? This is the third time she's assigned something last minute." "Matt, I can't control her. Also, I'm probably going to have to stay late Monday," he said as he started to drive. I looked straight ahead, watching the neighborhood as it flew past my sight. I laid my hand on the console. John looked down at my hand, but kept both hands on the steering wheel. I felt tears start to form. His phone started to ring. He quickly grabbed for it, but I got to it first. A ding sounded, telling us a voicemail was left. I clicked the play button, and Nick's voice greeted me. "Hey, Tiger. Thanks for last night. I know you're probably busy with the spouse, but I can't wait until our Monday dinner. I can't get you off my mind. Happy 1 month. Call me." The phone dropped from my hand. Sam Smith filled the air as thick, salty tears ran down my face. My chest felt tight, so tight that one more pop to my heart and it would bust open. We pulled it to the towering shopping center. The huge letters greeted me, offering me an escape. I jumped out of his horrid golden Honda, the crisp October air slapping against my wet cheeks as I slammed the car door. "Don't slam the door," John yelled. My jaw tightened ever so slightly, the ticking time bomb seconds away from going off. He acted as if the voicemail didn't exist. For months now, I knew something was wrong, but I never thought he would cheat. Now, here he was, telling me what to do, like he had any room to boss me around. He had clearly lost his ever-loving mind. After a long and very deep breath, I headed towards the evolving glass doors that gave me the breathing room I needed from this moralless man. "Babe, wait for me," he called as he ran towards me. "Why should I?" "Can you not make a scene for once? You are such a drama queen, honestly." "Look who's talking. He's just a coworker, babe," I said as I hit his arm. My chest tightened as he grabbed my arm. Tears started to pour down my face again as I yanked my arm out of his reach. I forced my feet to move faster, my breasts becoming ragged, forced movements. I needed air. I needed space. "You said you would let it go. When are you going to let it go?" he asked. "Well, I guess we're both liars, aren't we, John?" I said. "Why are you walking so fast? Slow down." "No," I said. A plump man in a tight plaid button-down shirt, light trousers, and a peach tie with a smiley-face tie clip was making his way towards us. A forced smile appeared on his oversized, balding head. He was everything that is wrong with the world. You didn't need to be a psychologist to see that. "What is this sleazeball? Who is walking towards us? A salesman? Get rid of him. I have had enough trouble dealing with your sleazy ass." He approached us as I looked him over. Disgust is all I felt. I looked down at his bright name tag, Dennis. I've never met a decent Dennis in my life. It all made sense as to why it was so horrible. He couldn't help it. It was the cursed name. "Hey, lovebirds, how can I help you today? Looking for anything in particular?" Dennis asked. "Yeah, to be left alone, Dennis. Thank you," I said. "Sorry about that," John replies, his face scrunching up like an old angry man. "Really? That's what you're sorry about? Not breaking a vow to God or, I don't know, to the person you love?" "Well then, just call me if you need me. I'll be somewhere not here," Dennis said quickly. I glared at Dennis as his figure retreated behind the modern living set. "We are not talking about this." "Look at that couch," John said. "You mean the ugly peach couch? I totally think it'll fit so well in the blue cool-toned home we built together. Oh wait, I remember now. You want something fresh and new, not something we spent years building together." A crisp silence filled the space between us as we both looked at each other. He looked like the same man I had fallen in love with, but somehow we had very much changed over the years. That's what marriage does. It takes something fun and free and changes it into something more serious and dull. This shopping trip proves it all. I stared at the vintage peach couch a little longer, the velour telling a tale of what our future would hold. Fun parties, but no children. I felt my once scrunched up face drop at the thought. All right, moving on. What about this one, babe? John asked. The new couch was an ugly green thing that sat before me, mocking everything that was wrong with me. The jealousy, the self-hatred, and most of all, it was his favorite color. I had promised myself years ago I would forgive John, but as yet another affair came to the air, I questioned whether I ever had. Green is a whorish color, John. He stared into my eyes for a second. It looked as if he were searching for something. It was something that I couldn't bring myself to share with him as we walked through the store hopelessly. How could we go on pretending we were broken and it was both of our faults? He shook his head lightly and kept moving down the rows of what our future could hold with these fake proc homes. This one isn't too bad. It's a nice black leather, he said. Does it look like I want to be in a porno, John? I don't like it. Why not? You love leather. All 10 leather jackets in our closet say otherwise. He has a leather couch, I mumbled. What? John asked. The sight of the plump salesman draws my attention away. He seemed to be walking slower than before. He looks at us cautiously before meeting my eyes. Why is that sleazeball walking over here again? I asked. John looked over to see what I was talking about, his lean body turning slightly. Why are you calling him a sleazeball? He asked. All men are, John. You would know best. How are we doing over here? Good? Dennis asked, a bit too cheerfully. My teeth ground together as this greasy salesman stared at John and then the black leather couch. Not once looking at me. Great, thanks, John said. What a lovely piece. It's only $6.99 instead of the original $1,200. It makes a lovely piece in any living room. A statement, if you will, Dennis said. Come on, it would look great in the apartment. Maybe we could get it in brown leather? You like brown leather? John pleaded. John, I don't want the fucking leather couch. Move on. I mean, first you changed my whole life, and now you try and force this fucking couch on me. Silence filled the air as we all looked at each other. A delicate triangle of life had been formed. The couple, one in love with a man who can't keep it in his pants, the other a man who was in lust with the idea of life and what it had to offer, and finally a salesman who was just trying to make the bills meet and probably plays in a local band. There we were, all existing in our fake, made-up homes at IKEA, each trying to find a room where the world might fit. Babe, come on, let it go. It was one time. Why let something that happened once ruin our future? I love you, baby, he pleaded. I stared at him. He was different than he was once. His eyes held pain, his skin was a pale tone, and his hair was unkempt. The fight had clearly taken its toll. My heart ached, but my mind built a stone wall and kept the doors bolted shut. How was I supposed to forgive when everything our relationship was built on, he broke? I remember the night we met in Austin. It was a local spot where food trucks rented, the Cosmo. We were reaching for a plastic fork and both grabbed a prong. You take it, he said. No, it's fine. I can go to another food truck. As can I. I smiled at him shyly. He chuckled lightly. Is that an Italian soda, he asked, pointing at my drink. Yeah, they make them at the main Cosmo building. If you want, I can show you the way, I said, looking up at him. I remember wondering what God had blessed this man. His eyes were captivating, his chin was chiseled to perfection, and soft freckles laid on his cheek, making small constellations. I felt my muscles become rigid, and small happy bees buzzed through my body. The Texas air blew lightly on a warm summer day. The noise of a local band filled the air, and dogs ran past us to their owners. The gravel crunched underneath our feet as we walked up to the main building. After a moment, our eyes adjusted to the shaded building. He looked at the Order Anywhere sign, a small smile forming as we walked up to the bar. How can I help you? Can I get 2 sugar-free Italian sodas, please? He asked. I laughed lightly. You get sugar-free too? Yes, they taste better. I know, right? No one else gets it. We laughed as we grabbed our drinks from the bartender and looked around the room before finding an empty vintage aqua blue couch. That couch was where we spent many nights getting to know each other. It was, in a sense, what bonded us. The deep discussions and the late-night drinks. It was also the place where he asked me to marry him. That couch was everything. We even tried to find one when we moved in together, but were never able to. As I looked at this black leather couch, I felt nothing. It didn't offer what I wanted. All I could see was red. Go say that to someone who actually wants to hear it, John, I said. Matt, you can't just ice me out forever. We have to talk about this eventually. No, we don't. You can fuck off along with that thing, I shouted. How are we doing over here? Good? Dennis asked as he approached. I swear to all that is holy, if you pop up one more time, Dennis, I will freaking hurt you. The air became still. John sighed heavily. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we will be closing soon, so can I persuade you to look at one more couch? Dennis interjects. Suddenly I felt a little guilty as I stared at this frumpy man for a second before deciding. After all, he was just doing his job. It wasn't his fault he reminded me of my husband's first lover. I nodded my head slightly and followed Dennis. He walked past the 2 modern living rooms and stopped in front of a vintage room. There it sat, a vintage aqua blue couch. I stared at it for a minute as tears began to pool. I felt John's hand pull me to him slowly. I love you, and I'm sorry. It won't happen again. I will quit my job, he whispered in my ear. I nodded softly, understanding the depths of his sorrow and the true meaning behind his words. Counseling, I whispered. A soft nod greeted me. We were far from perfect, but sometimes love isn't easy. We will take it, John said. Lovely, Dennis said. Okay, that's the end. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, etc., below. Have a good night, y'all.